Hi, I'm Chad with Move Forward Guitar. This lesson is from our series Chords for Beginners. I've done 2 lessons now where I've shown you how to play an open A minor 7 chord, 2 different versions of them. I'm going to show you one more version of an open A minor 7 chord in this lesson. So I've done 2 other lessons on an open A minor 7 chord. I showed you this version and this version. And those are just called different voicings. And a voicing on a guitar is just the same chord with the same notes, same name. It's just the notes are in a different order. And now I'm going to show you one more voicing. And this one, you're going to take this A minor 7 that I showed you. And if you don't know this one, there's a link in the description that'll show you how to play it. And all you're going to do, instead of leaving the first string open, you're going to add your 4th finger on the 1st string 3rd fret. So it'll sound like this. So instead of it sounding like this, it sounds like this. And those 2 chords are totally interchangeable. They're the same chord, just different voicings, and it just depends on what sound you're going for in that musical situation. Or you could look at it from the other voicing of the A minor 7 that I showed you, which was this. And there's a link in the description for that one. And you can look at it as that chord and just removing your 3rd finger. So that's just another way to look at it. And like I said, you can go learn either of those voicings because there's a link in the description. But I'm still going to go over the fingering with this chord, even if you don't know those other ones. So the fingering is your 2nd finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret, your 1st finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret, and your 4th finger on the 1st string, 3rd fret. And with this chord, you start your strum on the 5th string. And the 5th string and the 3rd string are open, which just means you don't fret those notes, but you just let them ring out. And you try to avoid the 6th string from being in this chord, and there's 2 ways to do that. The first is if your hand's big enough, you can reach up with your thumb and mute that string out, and it'll sound like that. And that way you can strum through all the strings and not worry about hitting it. If your hand's not big enough, you just drop your thumb down to wherever's comfortable, and you have to be more accurate with your strumming hand. And try to avoid the 6th string as much as possible. It's alright if that 6th string's in there a little bit, but if you leave it in there too much, the chord just becomes really muddy, so it's better to leave it out as much as possible. So whether you're able to reach up and touch the 6th string with your thumb or not, you still need your thumb straight up and down, not sideways like this. And you need to be on the tips of your fingers, have nice arches here in your knuckles, not bent back like this. And be as close and be up in the fret quite a bit in each of these notes. You want to be up towards the front fret wire in whatever fret you're in. So my 2nd finger is in the 2nd fret. I want to be up towards this fret wire without being on top of it. You know, my 1st finger is in the 1st fret. I need to be up in the 1st fret towards this fret wire. Because if you're back in the fret, it takes a lot more pressure to get that note to ring out. If I'm up in the fret, it doesn't take too much pressure to get that note to ring out. If I use the same amount of pressure and go back in the fret, I'm going to get buzzing. So it's better to be up in the fret with whatever note you fret on the guitar. Although that's not possible with every single chord that you play with every single finger. But with this chord it is more possible. And with my 4th finger, it's not all the way up in the fret because that's a little uncomfortable for me. It's kind of back a little bit, but still it's not way back here in the fret getting a buzzing sound like that. It's up as much as possible. So when you think you have it fretted properly, strum the chord. If you hear anything like, go through and check and get every note to ring out clearly. Keep adjusting your hand till you get every note to ring out clearly. Just do it over and over again. So that's another voicing of the open A minor 7 chord. If you'd like to get the diagram for this chord, you can click the link on the screen and it'll take you to an eGuide that you can download for free. And in this eGuide it has this chord, but it also has a whole bunch of other beginner chords that'll be really useful for you to learn. It just gives you a bunch of options for different chords and different versions of chords, and it'll really expand your knowledge and give you tons of options for playing chords and songs. And along with the chords, I give you a bunch of options for chord progressions. So I take the chords that are in the eGuide, put them together into sequences, and create chord progressions out of them so that you can actually hear them in a more musical situation, and you can learn the chord progressions to see what chords sound good together, and also get ideas for different chord progressions that you can create on your own. That way you won't just learn a whole bunch of random chords and then have no idea how to use them. This will show you musical situations that they can be used in and really expand your knowledge and help you as a beginner. So if you'd like to get that eGuide, just click the link on the screen and you can download that for free.